I'm Margaret Lewin and welcome to Margaret Lewin Quilting. Today we are going to work on bonus block number 1 from Pat Sloan's 2016 My Secret Garden Mystery Block of the Month. So this was a bonus block that we got, and this is the bonus block we got, and I'm going to put it together for you. If you'd like to see how I put it together, stick around and I'll share it with you. So we are going to be working on the bonus block for Pat Sloan's Mystery, My Secret Garden. This block was given to us in block 7, so we have block 7 and then we've got the bonus. And you can see I've laid things out a little bit here. I'm still working on it. I've got my Pat Sloan fabric in one line and my Victoria Findlay Wolf in another line. This one belongs up here and this one belongs down there. There we go. And I have already, I wanted to show you, I have already marked all my half square triangles. And once I've gotten done explaining this, I'm going to give you a little hint on how to figure out from these directions which ones are your half square triangles and which ones aren't. I have not exactly struggled, but I have had to mark up the patterns more than once to make certain that I have the right half square triangles together. So I'm going to show you what I've been doing for that, for the blocks. And these are my remaining pieces. Hopefully you can see me laying them out. And let's get sewing. So our first step is figuring out exactly which pieces are our half square triangles. And then right after that, I'm going to show you my sewing of the half square triangles, and then I'll come back once I've gotten them all squared up. So I'll see you in a little bit. One of the things I want to show you is how I figure out exactly how a block is made up. Now this is the bonus block 1 for Pat Sloan's 2016 Mystery My Secret Garden. But anyhow, in this, when I first looked at it, it was really tough for me to figure out exactly where the half square triangles were and where they weren't. Well, I noticed in my pattern up here, it said that there were 10 3x3s and those were for half square triangles. So right away I know the 3x3s are all more than likely half square triangles. So I had some here, here, up here, and one more spot right down here. Okay, so what I did was I took one of my friction pens, one of these babies, and I've already marked this, but I'm going to mark it again so that you can see. And what I will do is lay my fabrics out. So in this case, I know this colorway right here is my consistent fabric throughout all of it because there's 10 of them. And I will simply count out. I started with this one, and I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So what that tells me is I have 8 half square triangles of this fabric and this fabric. Okay, 8 half square triangles are made from 4 squares. So I stacked those up, set those aside. The next thing I did was I knew I had these. So then I went, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. That took care of that for me. I knew that I had 4 with this big dot. The next ones that I had were these inside ones, these. Okay, so I again went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That way I knew that I had accounted for all of the half square triangles that I needed. The great thing is, because I can kind of be a little OCD about my patterns, is I tuck, it's okay. I can now go over to the ironing board and iron these off and they're gone and I don't have to worry about them. And I can also mark it again when I lay them out so that I make sure I've got the right placement. So just a little tip or trick for you. You see I've got all my half square triangles all done up. But the next step is that we need to make these pieces so that we can start to put it together. This is the spot that I am forever messing up. So I want to show you what I do so that I hopefully don't mess it up this time. So you can see what we're going to do. Can you see? Yes. All right, so let me move this just a little bit closer so that you can see a little bit better. All right, so this is the bottom. So here's my triangle, and this is, if you're looking at it, actually, you can see it like this, okay? So what I did was, the first thing I did was I drew my line from corner to corner to divide the 2.5 squares, to divide the 2.5 inch squares in half, okay? Then I took them and I laid them all out so that I would make sure that I would have this triangle here, 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 and here, so that I didn't mess any of them up. Now the next thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stitch them down. Now normally we stitch right on the line, or if we're making a half square triangle, we stitch 1/4 inch in. On this one, because we're doing what's called the flip and sew method, or sew and flip method, I think is what it is. I'm not gonna sew right on that line. I'm going to sew right next to it. So I am just one stitch and no more than one stitch away from that line. When I go to actually sew it, I'm going to move you so that you can see where I line it up on my machine, because I think this is important. And the reason why we're doing this is because if I was to sew right on the line, when I press this over, I'm going to be a little bit short. So I'm going to sew right here, and then that way when I do the flip over, it will take into account that extra fabric right there from sewing. So I'm going to turn the camera around so that you can really get a good up-close shot of this, okay? All right, so I'm going to put my presser foot down, all right? And I'm going to start sewing. And I am sewing just on the inside of that line. And hopefully you can see it. All right, I'm going to grab the next one. Trim my threads first, though. All right, and here comes my next one. Now see, here is my piece, and this is going to be flipping like this. So I need to sew just on the inside of this line right here. So let me line up a little bit better. All right. Here we go. All right, hopefully you could see that. I'm gonna do my other ones and then I'll be back when I start putting it all together. Couple of things that I want to point out to you before I show you how I'm going to put this together. There are pairs of everything. So on these half square triangles, there are a total of 8 of them. So I took 4 of them and I pressed the seam one way, and then I took, let me find another one, here's one. Then I took the other ones and I pressed it the other way. So what happens by doing this is when I put them together like this, they're going to snuggle right up next to each other, okay? That's a little bit important because it does really help with putting it together. The same thing happened with these pieces out, these corner pieces out here. This one is pressed this way. These two are pressed this way. So again, I took and split the piles in half, and pressed one way and the other one the other way. Did the same thing here. So now to put this together, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do just what I did on the, I've already finished one of them. I've done one totally. I'm going to ignore these two and outside pieces because they go the entire length of the block once it's all put together. I'm going to put these two and these two together, and then I'm going to start working through each one of these rows, continuously sewing them and putting them together. I'll take this and add it to this center block, put all those together, and then add this. Then I'll work away at this row. And what I do is I keep it laid out like this, and I am just constantly changing up what pieces I'm taking so that I can just keep right on sewing, and I don't stop till I get to really to putting all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rows together. Then I'll add this at the end. I'm going to also insert a couple of clips of the first block that I did so you can see it as I put it in rows, but I think that's important too. So I'm going to start getting it all put together, and then I'll be back to show you. Alrighty, here we go. The blocks are all together. Here's my Victoria Finley Wolf, and here is my Pat Sloan block. Nothing really tough about this block, just lots of half square triangles again. So there's the block. I'm going to turn Victoria's over and show you the back of it. Here is the back side of my Victoria Finley Wolf. I'm going to turn it. No, I am going to leave it this way. I put it together exactly how I told you I was going to. I did these pieces, then first I did these. I pressed these seams open just because of bulk. I wanted to keep the bulk low, and that's the only reason why. So you could press those to one side or the other if you wanted to. I just found that it was easiest to press those open. So I did those 4 and these 4, okay? Then, let's see, what else did I do that was maybe a little different? I put it together in strips, and then sewed all of the strips together. And I tried to do it as a continuous sew as possible. It went together fine. There weren't any big problems or any big issues. The only thing I will caution you is to make certain that when you press these pieces, so like, let's see, what's the easiest way to say it? When you go to press these pieces, you've got 8 of these. So 2, 4, 6, 8. You're going to press 1 to the background fabric, 1 to the half square triangle. Same thing here. You're going to press 1 to the background fabric and 1 to the half square triangle. And then that way it ensures that your seams are going to nuzzle up really, really well. So that's that block. We've got one more block to do, and hopefully I'll have that for you tomorrow or Monday. Thank you so much for sticking around with me while I put together our bonus block 1 from Pat Sloan's Mystery 2016 My Secret Garden. This is the Victoria Finley Wolf fabric, and this is Pat Sloan's fabric. If you're looking for Victoria Finley Wolf's fabric, please do let me know. Check out the notes section below. I'll put a link directly to her store in the notes below so that if you're looking for this fabric, you can still get it. It's absolutely gorgeous. You can still get that fabric, which is fantastic news. Pretty soon we're going to be doing the final block, and once we get done with the final block, I'll be giving you some hints on how to put this together and keep your quilt nice and flat and square. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you're having a great day. If you'd like to see more quilt-alongs, please do leave a comment below. Give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget, if you haven't already, please do subscribe. Thanks so much and have a great day. Bye.